Hey guys, and welcome back to entry 3 to my bariatric journey. So we're almost completely caught up to the point of where I'm currently at. And so for today's entry, I'm going to go over the pre-surgery appointments that I had to go through in order to actually get the surgery, not just the whole, well, you got to go do a sleep study thing. No, the appointments I'm talking about are going through a nutrition class and some other various appointments with the surgeon and, of course, with other things and all the various information that you get. And, of course, if this doesn't take too long, I'd like to actually cover my day of surgery. So let's jump right into this. So for the nutrition class, which was my very first appointment that I had, and all of my pre-surgery appointments were the day before my surgery date, so I kind of really had to go. But, that's not the case for everybody, but for me it was. Now, the nutrition class that I went to, they gave me an informative little booklet that basically tells you, what your life will be like post-surgery. And it even covers, your day of surgery and all kinds of bits of information, like my favorite, how to eat after surgery. You really wouldn't think you needed instructions on how to eat after surgery, but such is the case because, as we learned in our class, somebody went home shortly after surgery, got hungry, ate a hot dog, and died. I am not joking. I wish I was. But that is what they told us. So basically it tells you, you've got to eat your protein first. You have to chew your food at least 20 to 30 times, depending on what you're eating. Because, if you're eating like a steak, it's going to take you more than 30 chews to get through a piece of steak. And then if you're eating like mushy foods like oatmeal, it's not going to take 20 bites to get through. You cannot eat and drink at the same time with each meal. So you actually have to stop drinking 30 minutes beforehand. And then you can eat. And then you have to wait another 30 minutes after you're done eating before you can start drinking fluids again. Which, for me, that's kind of frustrating. I thought it'd be easy, but there are days where I'm just eating my food and it's like, man, I'm really thirsty. And I go to reach for my drink and it's like, crap, I can't. So it gets very frustrating. And, those are just some of the things that they went over within the class. Of course, you cannot use a straw ever again because that puts air into your stomach and it can make you sick. If you eat too fast or drink too fast or eat too much or drink too much, you can end up with dumping syndrome, and that is a very, very painful thing to go through. I haven't experienced it personally, but I don't want to. And if it's not that, you throw up. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, don't want to do it again. So, straws can also cause gas or bloating, and there's just all kinds of pieces of information because it goes over your protein needs, your vitamin needs, and with the vitamins, I've actually got some examples here. You have to have a multivitamin. So for me, I have Centrum multi gummies for women, because I'm a woman. I got the chewable. You can also, if you find it in liquid, you can do liquid. You can also do mints. But the reason that they highly recommend the gummies or the mints and anything liquid is because nobody really knows how much your body will absorb if you actually take a pill. So taking normal, like big old horsey pills, there's no guarantee that everything's going to be absorbed because with the surgery, you no longer have acid to break down and help you digest your food or your drinks or your vitamins or any other medication. So you really don't know what's being absorbed into your body, which is, it's kind of frustrating, but I also see their point. So that's one of the things that I do use on a daily basis. Another one I use is also on their list of you must have calcium. Not just any calcium, it's a calcium citrate. And it may not say so like completely obvious right here, but if you actually look at your supplement facts on the side, it tells you it's a calcium citrate, and that is what you need post-surgery. It also has lots of vitamin D, which you need. There are 2 vitamins that they say you could use post-surgery, but of course, you know, it's completely up to you, and you really won't know until you get further along in your recovery state to really know if you really need them. And one of the big side effects, and part of the reason you need a lot of vitamins, is hair loss. Because if you have a vitamin or nutritional deficiency, you could lose your hair. And I like my hair. I like my hair very much. So I invested into Nature's Bounty Hair, Skin, and Nails gummies. Because I don't know about any other woman out there, but I like my hair. I don't want to lose it. So this is what I have. The other vitamin that they recommend for patients after surgery is a B12 vitamin. Now, granted, I don't currently have that, but it is something you can take. It's something I'm hoping to get to at some point, but as of current, which is the 26th of January, I don't have that. So that's just a couple of the things that you have to make changes for. So instead of pill, it's either liquid, gummies, or mints for your vitamins. And for some people, it kind of sucks because personally, I hate the gummies. I hate them. I really do. I don't know what it is about the gummies. I think they're too sweet. These gummies don't actually bother me though. But these, I think they're way too sweet. So that's just my thoughts on the gummies. Now, granted, not everybody will have that same experience. But with the calcium, as you can tell, it's a liquid, if you haven't noticed. So you have to shake well. And it's in an orange citrus flavor. I don't mind it. It's kind of chalky when you take it, but, you know, I just figured it's a lot easier because, you know, I don't want to have to take too many gummies. And for me, post-surgery, kind of jumping ahead a little, post-surgery, you know, I find it easier to drink than to eat. And that sounds really, really weird, but I find it easier to drink my liquids than to eat food or anything else for that matter. So that's just from my personal experience, and that's kind of I'm getting a little ahead of myself there, but it's just to give some examples and just kind of help people understand. Now with this, it also goes over your recommended fluids, your mealtime portion progression, dumping syndrome. I don't ever want to experience that in my life, but it is something that could happen at any point. I hope not, but that's the possibility. So, with that, we're going to jump forward where it actually tells you what to eat and what days or weeks to actually be able to eat any of these things. So, like your day of surgery, it tells you that you're going to be on ice chips. And then, of course, day 1 after surgery, it's sugar-free clear liquids like bra, coffee, tea, Jello, fruit juice, and it's kind of bland. But then, of course, days 3 through 7 are your full liquids. Yay! So like hot cereals, soups, like those creamy soups back from the liquid diet. It's basically you're going right back to your liquid diet. That's all the full liquids are, really. But after being on ice chips and broth in the hospital, you're going to be ready to go back to your liquid diet. I'm not kidding. You actually kind of miss it. It does give you a sample menu as to what to eat for examples and just some nifty little bits of information. Now, weeks 2 through 5, you are supposed to be on a soft pureed diet. So it's basically soft foods. So you can do like Cheerios, but your Cheerios need to be soggy. You can have yogurt, cottage cheese, shredded cheese, poached or scrambled eggs, tuna, that you're finally getting meat again, you know? And of course you can have peanut butter. And, you know, it's a little rough. I will admit that, because that's actually the stage I'm currently at right now. And then, of course, you get other things like canned fruit, applesauce, bananas, soft pears, but they have to be peeled. You can have canned vegetables, crackers, Melba toast, whole wheat pastas, rice, pudding, yogurt. So you actually move up pretty high in the world when you get to the pureed portion of the diets. So, of course, you can't have corn, broccoli, cauliflower, celery, asparagus, and no bread. Now, here's why. All the vegetables that were listed are high in fiber, and your body is not ready to be able to handle that yet. So if you end up eating it, you're going to make yourself really, really, really sick. And for the no bread, that's another thing that'll make you really, really sick, and that's because bread, when it's fresh, you know, plain wheat or white bread, if you eat it, it gets gummed up and it could get stuck in your new stomach. So that ends up to a very, very painful experience. One I have not experienced myself, and I don't want to. But, you know, it's just things you have to look out for, you know. And of course, it gives you another sample menu of what you can have. And then you go into weeks 6 through 8, your final 2 weeks of reintroducing yourself to food. At this point, you can finally have chopped and shredded meats at first, and then you can go to like regular meats. So you just can't jump in and have a T-bone steak. You have to progress to it. You can have lean and moist meats. They cannot be dry. You can have like turkey, chicken, ground beef, lean pork, deli meats, fish, ham, and the other thing you get is toasted bread. So I can't wait to get to that point. I'm very excited. You guys have no idea. So, of course, it gives you another sample menu for those final few weeks, and then after week 8, you can go back to normal lifestyle. So you could eat, you know, basically any other things that you wanted. You can have bread. So if you want to have a burger, you can have a burger, and your bread doesn't have to be toasted. It's pretty interesting, you know. It does give you an active checklist once you're there for surgery, and of course other tips and things about what you should avoid. So, moving forward about all of that, during the nutrition class, I was told, well, me and everybody else in the room, we were all told that on our first day of surgery, that they're not going to give you anything. It depends on how well you're handling yourself, and it all depends on how you're feeling and how your recovery is going, to be honest. Now, I'm not going to say that everybody out there is going to make you starve your first day. I'm not saying that you're going to be guaranteed ice chips. That it all depends on you your surgeon, and of course the nurses in charge of your care. So there was that. Then of course my second appointment that day was meeting with my surgeon. And of course that was just going and signing paperwork saying that, yes, I understand what I'm getting into. Yes, I understand he's going to do a laparoscopic surgery and all these other pieces of information, which is fine and dandy. And then, of course, after that, I had my final appointment for the day, and that was to go and get some blood work done. And the blood work is basically to check to see if you currently have any nutritional deficiencies, so that way they know how to set you up for success when you depart the hospital. So I had to go get my blood drawn, and of course, since I have sleep apnea, I don't think I have it anymore, but I'm not sure. I haven't found out. They draw blood from your artery to check your oxygen levels. And that hurt. I mean, they stuck me right here in my freaking artery around here in my wrist. That really hurt. I've never had blood work done there. And, I never ended up finding out, is everything okay? Is everything good? But I'm going to guess everything was good because they proceeded with surgery the next day. So, we're going to move ahead. The day of surgery. So at this point, I haven't had anything to eat or drink since midnight. I haven't had anything to eat since 7 p.m. The night before, of course. And for my husband and I, we had to be up around 4:30 in the morning because I had to check in at 5:30 at the hospital. And the hospital is about 45 minutes to an hour away, depending on traffic. So it was kind of frustrating because we're not used to being up that early. We're normally up around like 6:30 due to his work hours. But outside of that, if we don't got to be up that early, we ain't going to get up that early. I mean, our idea of sleeping in is anything past 7 in the morning. That's a good day. So we get there, I signed in, I got checked in, and while I was there, I asked about getting a private room because my paperwork indicated that you're not guaranteed a private room. Most people get one, but you're not guaranteed one. And it's like, I don't gotta share a room with anybody. I don't want to. I mean, yeah, I understand, like, if the hospital is overflowing with patients and you have to, that's fine. That's one thing. But if I ain't got it, I ain't gonna. So we signed up and I got my own private room. And they called me back and they started prepping me for surgery, which was, it was just very frustrating and nerve-wracking, and because this is a big life change. This isn't just, one-time thing and then you're going to go back to your old habits. No, this is a forever change. And, go to the bathroom, do the pee test because they got to make sure you're not pregnant before the surgery. Went back to my room, and of course my bed wasn't working, so they couldn't prop me up. They had his stuffed pillows under the mattress to prop the bed up. It was kind of funny. So, while I was there waiting to be rolled back into the OR, I was in tears. I will honestly admit that. I was in tears because I was scared. It's like, do I really want to do this? I do this, I can't go back. There's no turnaround point. It's like now or never, basically, for me. And I was just petrified. I don't know anybody in the world who thinks that they could just walk in, walk out, and be okay. It was a very terrifying thing to realize this is happening. There's no turning back. You're going in and you're getting your stomach cut. And then you're going to get a new stomach made. Your intestines are going to be rearranged and rerouted. And it was just terrifying. I cried. I begged my husband, I don't want to do this. I really did. I cried and asked him to help me because I didn't want to go through with it. And he held my hand. He told me it was going to be okay, that it was for the best, and that I'm going to be grateful that I went through with the surgery in the end. And at that point, I was thinking, I don't know. I didn't know if it was the right thing for me, if it was worth it, or any of that. Honestly, I just wanted to go home at that point. But they had already stuck the IV in my arm, and they were already getting me set and ready to go, and before I knew it, they put my husband in the waiting room, and I was off in the OR. And that was the hardest thing, was to actually stay on that bed, not take out the IV, and to go through with the surgery. That was very, very difficult for me because, like I said, I was terrified. I didn't want to do it. I didn't know if I was strong enough to go through with it. But I somehow made it. I still thank my husband for staying by my side and telling me I could do it, that I was strong enough to make it. But after surgery was complete, the surgeon went out and talked to my husband while I was in the recovery room waking up. And of course, the wonderful, wonderful thing I got to hear when I first woke up was somebody retching. Way to go. It wasn't pleasant listening to somebody retch and want to throw up right after surgery, but we were all made aware that that was a common thing that could happen to some people post-surgery, and I was just grateful it wasn't me. And once I was finally awake enough, they brought my husband back to see me, and he asked how I was doing, and it's like, I hurt. I hurt so bad. Oh, but he gave me a hug, and he told me everything was going to be okay, and he stuck around while they brought me up to my room, and he came back, he saw me, he stayed with me for a little bit longer, and then he left home to come and take care of our dogs, as you can tell. They're very needy. Within that first day after I was awake from surgery, they gave me ice chips to nibble on and suck on, and basically I had to keep track of how many I had, and they give you a little medicine cup, and they're like 2 tablespoons. You got to keep track. You have to leave an empty cup every time you get ice. I didn't. I was very bad about that. I'm like, that's just a waste of cups. Can't you just trust me? But of course, the nurses, they got to measure your fluid input and output. So I had a wonderful CNA when I first got delivered into my room, and she was very helpful my first day there, and she went over my checklist. She's like, this is everything you got to do in order to be released from the hospital. And my thoughts are, wait a minute, what? I actually got to do stuff in order to leave? And she's like, yeah, you do. And it's like, okay, when do I start? Because my brain was going, the sooner I do all this stuff, the sooner I can go home. that was my logic. And so that's what I tried to do. For the first day, you have to be able to handle the ice chips if you're given any. You have to be able to walk to the nurse's station and back to your room. You have to be able to stand on your own. And it's not really much for your first day, but you know, with each day it progresses more and more, and you have more things you have to accomplish. And within that first day, my husband, he did come back to visit me. And during that time, while I was waiting for him to come back and see me, I had fallen asleep and ripped one of my incisions open, just wide open. And that was just a bit of a fiasco, and it sucked, but such is life. And the nurses, they came back with steri strips to kind of keep it closed. And I was able to, before I went to bed, I was able to walk from my room to the nurse's station, and my parents had sent me flowers in the hospital because they were worried about me and they were concerned, and I get their concern. It was a big operation. I've never done one before, and it's a big deal. But I feel like I've dragged this video out long enough, so I'm going to say adieu, and we're going to finish this video off before my photo bomber takes any more of the spotlight. So I will be posting a video next week doing a side-by-side comparison of Ipsy versus Birchbox for the month of January. And of course, I will be back again next Thursday to do another chapter to this lovely journey that I am on. So until then, everybody, I hope you guys stay wonderful, stay beautiful, and I hope everyone has a great weekend. Say bye-bye, baby. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.